Hello, my name is Karen Lawrence, and I'm the president of the Huntington Library, Art Museum, and Botanical Gardens. For our 2023 Founders Day program, we presented a mix of stories that highlight both the breadth of our three collections and their connections to the rich history of the San Gabriel Valley and the greater Los Angeles region. So please take a look at some of the highlights of our program.
This event has been so much fun to put together because we're able to dip into these remarkable collections. In addition to that, this event has been great fun because we get to work with people as remarkable as the collections are, and you're going to meet them here tonight. This is the Horatio Nelson Rust collection, a very big collection here at the Huntington. Rust himself was an abolitionist, a horticulturalist, and the reason we have our interest in Rust tonight is because of a lifelong friendship that he built with John Brown, the man who, in the ill-fated raid against at Harper's Ferry, just before the Civil War, made the Civil War all but inevitable.
I mean, I don't associate John Brown and his family with Southern California, so it was really fascinating to see how these images ended up here in the Huntington's collection. And for me, that idea of this story feels very much like a story of migration, an American story, a California story, and very much a human story of a family seeking redemption.
Eve Babitz was born in Hollywood, where she grew up, and after living in Rome for 6 months and New York for 1 year, she moved back to Hollywood, where she made money doing album covers. Eve's first article had come out in Rolling Stone magazine in 1972. Over the next 25 years, Eve wrote articles for Vogue, The Village Voice, Cosmopolitan, Esquire. She had a great run as a chronicler of Los Angeles hedonism. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, sunsets, and sand dabs. The main protagonist of most of her writing, or perhaps the main love interest, if she herself is the protagonist, is the city of Los Angeles. Whether it's from her car or her shopping cart, Eve Babitz makes it possible to understand the complex urban infrastructure and diverse population of Los Angeles as it is experienced every day, and from her very particular point of view, one that is embodied, female, curious, voracious, and hilarious.
In the south of Mexico, in the state of Oaxaca, stands a cypress tree, which is one of the natural wonders of the world. This tree is famous for its thickness and its age, having the widest circumference of any living tree on the planet, and having an estimated age of 1,500 years. The Zapotec and Mixtec myth held that the people originated from cypress trees, and the Aztec or Mexica deified these trees. Historical record shows that William Hertrick, the first superintendent of the gardens working for Henry Huntington, collected seeds from the trees in Chapultepec in 1912. What is truly remarkable is that all of these trees are the direct descendants of the trees that the Mexica planted in Chapultepec. In the last decade, the Montezuma cypress has been listed as a conservation priority by the Mexican government. As Mexico works to back up this tree with multiple genetic clones, our collection offers an invaluable genetic resource to this endeavor.
Laura Aguilar, presente. Aguilar examined her intersectional identity as a queer, full-figured, disabled Chicana of indigenous and Mexican heritage throughout her life and work. Her exploration of the concept of self and one's relationship to the world ties her to larger questions persistent in the human condition, a journey of self-acceptance and belonging. Belonging to oneself, belonging to a community, and belonging in the world. Aguilar also investigated her identity as a Chicana straddling the liminal space between Mexican and American cultures, and as a lesbian in Los Angeles. Some of her most compelling images are from her Grounded series, where she puts her body in dialogue with the landscape. In this series, as well as her nature self-portraits, Aguilar shot in Joshua Tree and other desert locations, positioning the folds and shapes of her body in relation to rock formations.
In the early 1860s, the Central Pacific Railroad Company, led by Collis Huntington, employed thousands of Chinese workers to complete the western portion of the first transcontinental railroad in the United States. Eventually, many of these Chinese migrants saw opportunities here in Los Angeles and settled here. In the 1930s, a major portion of old Chinatown was demolished to make way for Union Station, and the original Chinese neighborhood was eventually erased from the city. Starting in 2020, best-selling author Lisa See donated to the Huntington a collection of over 300 glass plate negatives taken in Old Chinatown from the 1890s to 1900s. The glass plate negatives in the Lisa See collection are a major discovery for Chinese American history and also for the history of photography. They serve as an important documentation of the original Los Angeles Chinatown before its erasure from the cityscape. This rare cache of photography, created by and for the Chinese, offers an intimate and irreplaceable visual journey into a long-lost chapter of Los Angeles history.
I knew we'd get this question, Karla. It's a very good question. It's a very hard question, so I'm going to throw it at you. Why doesn't Eve Babitz get more praise for the mystique of California rather than Joan Didion?
Ooh. I mean, the short answer is that I think she visibly had a lot more fun than Joan Didion. It's hard for people to understand that something that seems like it's having, writing that's having so much fun is also very serious, and has something kind of serious to say. So that's one answer.
It's a good one.
This is definitely one of the most popular collections that's come into at least my area, come into the Huntington in recent years, because of the fact that these are photos that have not been seen for a long time, and because they are about LA Chinatown, a community that many people care about and are doing a lot of research, and so I think there is going to be a lot of people coming.
When we were looking through the collection together, in one of the boxes was a souvenir of John Brown from 1895. So I think that and the many other things that we took a look at remind you how much information and intelligence and history is in the Huntington collection that are just beginning to get light.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Have a good evening.